Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spirit Coffee Talk. As you can see, it's just the beautiful Ginette and I today. Our lovely Elyse is away today, so sending her lots of love. And we are just going to pop in today, and we always do a little bit of a pre-show talk and kind of debrief of what's going down. And honestly, we're feeling a lot of this coming down off the major ride of eclipse season. Now, we've talked about eclipse seasons. We've talked about it here. We've talked about it podcasts, and it's been like eclipse central. And saying that, it's for a reason, because all of us felt it in one capacity to the next, however that looks for everybody. So I have felt since coming off of the 5th, I would say, so today's the 9th. We're recording this on Tuesday, so it's going to be Friday when it comes out. But I have to say, up until today, pretty much, I have felt the effects of it. And like the amount of fatigue I felt after eclipse season. And it was almost like how I understood it was all of the energy that transpired into weaving into my highest timeline, to removing any of the old energies for myself personally. It's like wrapping up like collective karmas to be able to like go forward. It was such a powerful gateway for me in connecting with loved ones on the other side, having them help me to move through stuff so that I can begin and start in this new creation phase. It's been brilliant. It's been sad. It's been emotional. But as coming out of it, it's tiring. It's really tiring. So today what we're going to do is we're just going to do like a brief check-in. We're going to pull some cards to let the cards kind of give us some guidance on just riding this wave. So I talk about finding a frequency in which you're comfortable with, no judgment, whatever frequency you're comfortable, and literally just riding it and visiting who you meet along the way on that same frequency. So if you're not connecting with certain people, that's okay. Just try this week and over the weekend to just ride the wave that you're on, where the wave in which you found yourself on after this big energetic movement, and that, like, for a lot of us, is death and rebirth, and this rebirth in which we've kind of feeling, and there's an emotional aspect to it, and but we just need some time to like recalibrate now. Hey, don't you find that it's kind of that integration part?
100%.
Like if anyone's ever come back from like a retreat or this like wonderful spiritual process or something, or like a weekend away with girlfriends or something like that, that you've like really done a bunch of self-discovery, and then you kind of come back and it gives you a sec that we have to take to be like, oh my gosh, it's integration. We talked about it after we came back from Hawaii. Yeah.
We did.
So I really feel like that is collectively happening. Everybody's kind of like,
I agree.
okay, now what do we do? Let's ride the wave and recalibrate a sec here, because there's a bunch still kind of moving. We're continually moving and finding our groove. It's not like we go through rebirth. Okay, now we're in our timeline. Everything's set. It's like, no, there's like a grooving to this process, and it can be tiring. It can be emotional. It can be nothing at all. It can be very like apathetic. You know
The
what I mean?
void. I've noticed a
Yes.
void, like this weird void energy where I'm like, and everything's quiet. And I'm used to
Mm,
everything being so busy or this and this and this. And then it's just quiet and it's almost weird. And in the past, that would cause me to like almost feel a panic or an anxiety. But now I have to just accept the void, the liminal space, the space between an
right.
ending and a new beginning, that in breath. Right? So I've
Definitely.
really been noticing that big time. So,
And another thing Spirit's bringing through right now is that kind of goes along with that quietness when you're used to it being like when it was really busy and there was a lot going on in the last, 2 or 3 weeks. This is an opportunity for us to actually experience embodiment. So, really getting out of here and even here and like listening, and let's like go into our bodies, because after an experience like that and we're integrating, the thing that we can count on the most is what our bodies are telling us, because we can tend to get a little like whoop, whoop, whoop when so much has transpired. So what embodiment looks like is like, it doesn't have to be this whole grandiose concept that is like a buzzword, or like how to integrate embodiment work and like, you know what I mean? Let's like bring it down to as simple as forms is our body will tell us, and it's just about whether or not we'll listen.
I agree.
So like if we're excited, we'll go and our hands will fly up, you know, or if something's caught us off guard, we'll be right. Like our body tends to really expose us in a way where if we can actually read it. So let's listen, because it's not trickery. It's not something that is happening through us based upon like the thoughts, or like, okay, it is our instant reaction. So integration period, give this part a break and go in here and just be like, okay, yeah, no, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Or, you know what, it's dinner time and everybody else is hungry, I'm not hungry, I can sit and visit, I'm just not hungry. Or I am really hungry, and so I'm just gonna have a snack because I need something and I need protein right now. You know, like these little things actually help us and allow us to listen, and then therefore trust that what's going on here is real, it's true, it's not lying, right?
Yeah.
And so when we're heading into the void, or we're coming into integration process with a ton of stuff that just transpired, we can give our light body and our soul body and our brain a break by going to embody ourselves and trusting that embodiment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely does.
So
It
that's like a
definitely does.
little, yeah, a little tidbit that Spirit's like, go into your body right now. And then, because then that kind of gives you that sense of like, okay, I can just step away from all this stuff for a hot sec, and I can listen to my body because it's not going to lie to me.
I think that's great, because a lot of people have been recognizing the need to ground. But I think what we also need to recognize when grounding, we need to get into our body. And so sometimes the way to get in is to eat something really dense, or like root vegetables, right?
Right.
Or to stomp and dance,
Yeah.
or to rest and sleep when you need, or eat extra, like you said. Like sometimes when you're really needing to ground and it's hard to ground, your body will crave extra food
Yeah.
to actually almost give weight to the
Yes.
body. And so to
Yes.
follow that, I think following the body is a great key thing to kind of latch onto right now to help stabilize the void, or the integration, or the aftermath chaos, if maybe some are feeling that. Like going to the body as the director of what's next or what to do is a great thing. Really great thing.
And
Yeah.
if you're like, okay, body, now what? And it's quiet, then just like trust that. Don't go back up into your head and be like, well, what does that mean?
Totally.
What does that mean? No,
Yes.
no, you can try. It's going to tell you.
Yeah.
It's going to talk to you when it needs something. If you're not tuned into it and it's not giving you any, don't overthink it. Just be like, all right, hey, body, let me know.
That was exactly my experience, where I was like, okay, what do we need? What needs to be done? And my
Yeah.
body's like, just don't. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? Wait. But, and it was exactly that. I felt into my body and I had to just be okay with nothing,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I love that you're saying that, because that was literally me. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay. Do you
So
want to pull some cards?
I did. I pulled
Oh, yay.
three.
Okay.
This is from the Rose Oracle
Love
deck.
it.
And so what I think is really interesting is this really speaks to what we've been going through and where we're at. So the first card out is the Sophia card. And
I
this
pulled
represents,
her too.
did you?
I just pulled the Sophia card in a different deck.
So this represents divine plan, wisdom, destiny. Yeah, wisdom. This is like,
Wisdom.
this eclipse really in the gateway allowed us to really move forward on our divine plans, both individually and collectively. So there's a big energy there. Now, it follows with this other card that I pulled in other decks as well, which is the crowning. Now, the crowning in this one specifically is about birth,
Oh my
initiation,
gosh.
thresholds, birth, rebirth, a seat at the table. Like one of the runes, I pulled a rune this morning, and the rune was, I don't remember the rune name of it, but it's about, one of the phrases in the write-up is like, it's time to enter the delivery room now into the new energy, new life, right? The crowning, when a baby's crowning. So this is so timely of this energy right now. And then the third is the rose thread. And this one speaks of inner call, soul-led, the mystic, living courageously. And this is really like, tune into your body now, tune into where you're at. You are the mystic in your reality, in your universe, your
Only
body,
you
your
know.
soul.
Yeah,
Exactly, you know. So huge transformation happened according to divine plan. And these new rebirths are literally here, but sometimes in a rebirth, there's a quiet or a void before the action potential. For
definitely.
others, they may have already had the action potential and there's a recalibration and a recovery, but all
Yeah.
of it is soul led.
You know what's interesting is that your Sophia,
Mm-hmm.
my Sophia, shows a pregnant Sophia, and
Oh,
I pulled that right before.
interesting.
And then you have the birthing, and then you
Yeah,
have the after, meaning
yeah,
like the authentic living, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so essentially, what this whole portal and gateway and everything was a massive death and rebirth, is what I
Totally.
like came to understand in all my channeling over the last 2 weeks. They showed me birthing, birthing, birthing over and over and over, and like
Mm-hmm.
how uncomfortable it actually is right at the like last minutes before the birthing process for both the baby and the birther, the
Mm-hmm.
birthing and the birther,
Mm-hmm.
just like the butterfly, like just like in the chrysalis and the butterfly, and like all of those major
Mm-hmm.
moments before the birth,
Yeah.
right? It's like, think about it. It's like, oh, like all the wildness and all the energy and the explosion is like, holy smokes, I'm coming through. And then it's like,
Yeah. Totally.
and so
Yeah.
that is kind of what we've all really honestly have gone through.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of the biggest collective rebirths that our planet has ever seen in
Mm-hmm.
our lifetimes.
In the consciousness that it was experienced,
Yeah.
right? Like the amount of people that had conscious awareness on a level of something more
Hmm.
was unprecedented and
Yes.
so incredibly cool, because that's huge for the collective growth of humanity.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like everyone give yourself a pat on the back. Like that was
totally.
major. Even if you can identify with like the words that we're actually saying, or just like brief moments, or a dream, or
Mm-hmm.
an encounter with somebody where the response was nothing that would have ever been. It's something that you afterwards you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. Like, way to go. See,
Mm-hmm.
things like that is a rebirth or a birth sort or a new beginning
Mm-hmm.
of a more authentic perspective of self. And that's really what this is about,
Yeah.
is like being able to maybe do some unconscious healing on that limiting belief, or putting that part of self just to rest a little bit so they don't have to be forefront of trying to control every situation because they don't feel
Mm-hmm.
safe or whatever it might be. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I think
absolutely.
in one way or the other, we've all had this experience accompanied by um, anxiety, fear, sleeplessness,
Mm-hmm.
physical pain, like the whole bit,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yet we didn't fly off the deep end. I saw more people acknowledge all of these symptoms and all of these encounters and been like, so crazy. So I'm just like letting it go. I'm like observing it for the first time. And and I'm thinking, holy smokes, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So like our guides step forward for us a ton in this, everybody. And like there's been a huge calling of beautiful light beings that have showed up to
Mm-hmm.
help us
Yeah.
through this. And this was a big push. We've already tipped it into the level of light. Now it's things like this that humans are experiencing that are continually raising our vibration.
Yeah.
So like you are a part of it. You are all a part of this collective upgrade. Nobody's void of it. Nobody's like, okay, we're all in this except you few who just refuse to be a part of it.
Sorry,
No,
bye.
you came here during this time, which is a feat in itself, right? You made it here. So acknowledgement is big. And then that helps you to create more of this connection, this heart connection, because it's like you just went through a collective rebirth. You just went through a death of sort, like we're all doing this and we're all connected for the greater good. So that is kind of a way to be able to really connect with one another too, and have that kind of collective oneness, which really then heightens our heart space and our love space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amazing. What do
So,
you have for cards?
well, I just had the Sophia card pop out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like for me, I'm like, oh, there's not much more to say about that one.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Like it's all just a part of it. And it's like it's interesting because like my guides are like, it's pretty simple today. The message is really simple, yet it comes with a powerful punch, right? Everybody experienced it
Yeah.
in one way or the other. So like, congrats.
Yeah.
And
For
now take the
sure.
time to ride the wave, write it out, run it out, dance it out, sleep it out, whatever you need to do to just be on your wave, come into your body and trust. And then let the wave kind of ride this wave. You worked hard to get there. Like just ride it for a sec. It's okay. Say no maybe for a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, and Mother's Day is coming up. And that's a really cool thing because wisdom and the Sophia is such a mother card, right?
That's very true.
And so it's like not even okay, so I have to be really careful here. I want to express this. Not even about our biological mothers or in a state of like a mother experience, because that in a physical way can be, some might be wonderful, but others there's a lot of stuff that can get kind of caught up in it. So I don't want to say let's just celebrate mothers. Like let's celebrate creation. Because what Mother's Day can represent then is that divine feminine in every one of us, whether we're a masculine man. It's about this creation aspect in which we are honoring, because with that creation brings this like birth of fullness in our current reality, right? So maybe like connect to that more than maybe the like physical motherhood, if that is more comfortable. But
Yeah.
it can be something that can be nurturing
Yep.
and completely like embodying for ourselves, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a beautiful energy to, after the trials and tribulations and death and rebirth, to fall into the energy of the divine mother, the divine feminine, right? It's that safe space. So I think that's a beautiful mention as we step into the weekend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Amazing.
Sometimes when I feel like I need that nurturance from like that mother nurturance, like that we all, I think, crave, I go into like a meditation. And if you're not comfortable with meditation, it's okay. You can just like maybe change the verbiage and go into your mind's eye, or start thinking in your head what it would look like if you were watching a movie and this scene was playing, like if that is more comfortable. I like to like have the observation of like me walking up, and what I like to envision is the divine mother in my mind. And so that is like, what is that to me? What is that divine mother? What is that divine nurturing aspect? So that could be maybe to someone just this beautiful dog that's sitting there, that's waiting for you to wrap your arms around and hold, and it holds the space for you. Or it could be like an angel of sort. What does she look like? Or what does he look like? Whatever it is. And then it has that energy of this unconditional opening, and you just kind of like walk up to it. And mine is always in like this beautiful like garden type tree area. Yours can be wherever. And I literally like crawl into the lap of this beautiful divine, I picture it as like a goddess. And I don't know if it actually is a real god. She looks like something in my mind, but she always has this like unconditional nurturing divinity about her. And I literally crawl in her lap and she opens up and she wraps her arms around me and I cuddle right into her and she rocks me and tells me that like I'm loved, and I feel it. I feel that energy and that kind of love surround me.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely available to every single person on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
So if on Mother's Day it evokes something that is uncomfortable and we're trying to like get comfortable in the idea of celebrating this divine mother and it comes with a bit of wounding, you don't have to retreat and say, I'm rejecting it. You can if that's more comfortable. But it is something that anybody can try that allows you to actually receive the divine mothering that each and every one of us needed, even if we didn't get it. So that
Mm-hmm.
might be a way to celebrate that divinity as well.
That's beautiful. I love it. Awesome.
Okay.
All right,
Anything
everyone.
else?
No, you nailed it.
I talked a lot.
That's okay. It's perfect. All is as it should be. It was beautiful. So yeah. Okay. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining. And happy Mother's Day to those that are mothers in all the many ways. And we will see you guys all next week.